Welcome to Best of the Fest. Highlights from KOB-TV's live coverage of the 1994 Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Now here are your hosts, Tom Joles and Carla Aragon.
Welcome to Best of the Fest. I'm Tom Joles along with Carla Aragon.
And this year's Balloon Fiesta has been bigger and better than ever. 650 balloons taking to the air, all kinds of specialty shaped balloons, lots of food, lots of fun.
Enjoy Best of the Fest.
Welcome, folks. We've been waiting all year for this. It is finally here, the 1994 Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and it promises to be a good one.
You saw that lone balloon in the sky. In a few moments, you're going to see 650. Actually, we say a few moments, but they're going to go off and wave 650 balloons. Here we have 1,100 pilots registered, 9 days of a lot of fun. Of course, the activity at hand right now is the mass ascension. You see some of the crew members stretching out the envelope ready for the cold inflation.
Joining us now, Craig Kennedy, who is the KOB balloonist. Welcome, Craig.
Good morning. How are you folks?
Good morning.
I'm glad you all made it here.
I'm glad I did too. Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, what is the feeling? You've been doing this for so many years. Is it still as exciting and thrilling? You're going to be going up a little bit later in the balloon.
We've been so busy trying to get ready for Fiesta this year, but now that we're here,
I know. Kick back a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it'll be okay. We were just over at the pilot briefing just a little while ago, and they tell the pilots, you know, hey guys, we had a great morning or whatever. Or if we had a little problem, they call those pilots to the tower. And the nice thing is, they said, pilots needed to the tower. No one today. Any launch problems on the field? None so far, and we intend to keep it that way all through.
Okay, even though it's not quite 7:30, it looks like some of the balloons are just about to go up.
Craig, once they're ready, they can't hold it on the ground, or do they just lift up once they've got enough air in there?
Yeah, with the crews available for the balloonists, they can certainly keep the balloons on the ground, and if necessary, they could deflate them without flying away.
So is this unusual that they're taking off before the 7:30 wave, the first
Not necessarily. Anytime after 7 o'clock when the first balloon's ready to go and the field officials feel like everything's looking good, time for the national anthem, and up will go the first balloon. We have it right now.
This is actually the first morning I can remember in about 7 years I haven't been up here shivering a bit, wanting to pour hot coffee on myself.
You know, there is a slight downside to that. That is that the balloons aren't able to lift quite as much weight as they normally would. When it's warmer out, you have to use more heat to get that balloon aloft.
Well, let's check in right now with Bill Eisenhood to see what he's up to. Bill?
Hi, Carla.
Hello.
I'm right out in the middle of it all here. You're right, it is very warm. I would guess it's 60, 65 degrees in there somewhere. The winds don't seem to be doing much of anything. They, I'd say, just looking at the flags right now, they seem to be out of the northeast about 2 or 3 miles per hour. I do know that the winds aloft are from the southwest, and as you get higher and higher up, around 2,000 to 3,000 feet above the ground, they're straight out of the west at about 17 to 20 miles per hour. So the balloons will likely take off and bump into each other a bit this morning. But as they get a little higher up, they're going to tend toward the northeast and then eventually wind up, at least that's the prediction. That's what I do for a living, is make predictions. Wind up somewhere east of here, over toward the mountains. Preferably, you know, away from the power lines and that sort of thing. But the trick is when you don't have a good box going, you don't have that nice north wind that's scooting through here at 8 to 10 miles an hour. The trick is for the balloons to get out of each other's way. One balloon might go up and another one could come up right beneath it. And that's always a nasty problem because the guy below can't look above and see the balloon above him because his balloon is in the way. And so it's somewhat tricky. We could use a little bit more wind on the surface than we have here right now.
Okay, thank you, Bill. There are 650 balloons out here. As you can see, they continue to go up. There will be 3 waves today, right, Craig? Should be.
3 waves as usual and maybe a few bonus balloons. I know that there are a couple of balloonists who said, let's go fly Dawn Patrol so we can get a little exposure. One of those being that bank that's changing its name.
Yes, that bank that used to be called United New Mexico, now known as Norwest. They're in the process of changing their name here in Albuquerque. They've got that big pink pig. It is called Miss Penny.
So
Still called Miss Penny.
And then you see some beautiful brand new shiny Aerostar balloons, white with green and blue, and the Norwest logo on them. One of them was flying Dawn Patrol this morning. Commander Dana Place of the Navy balloon team was out there flying at Fort Wayne Bond, and now that there's enough light for them to land, probably did that maybe 20 minutes ago, they're packing up that balloon and they're going to rush it right back here to the field, and they're going to have another Norwest balloon a little later.
That stork you just saw is Great Expectations from St. Joseph Hospital.
Steve Comedina, the pilot on that.
Steve has joined us on the set many a time. Craig, stick around. I want to go to Carla right now with a special guest.
We would like to say good morning to the Governor of New Mexico, Bruce King, and he is a veteran balloon watcher. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Carla. It's a real pleasure to be on with you all this morning and see all the wonderful balloons. It's such a beautiful morning, and I've watched nearly every time. I started out, I was governor when we had the first ascension back in 1972 along there, so we had just about 1% of the number of people watching that day we do today, but it was still beautiful. But it gets more beautiful every year, and the crowd gets larger, so it's just great.
Now, do you have a favorite? I know they were talking about specialty shaped balloons. Do you have a favorite that you see out there that?
Oh, well, I always like the cow, of course, but I don't see it this morning. This Norwest is a beautiful balloon. They do a good job, and right here in front of us, and of course I see the Hilton over there, and a lot of our wonderful friends of Pontiac, and we saw the one leave with American flag, so they're all beautiful.
Now, you've been talking a lot about these balloons that have corporate sponsors. This is an incredible boost to the economy here in New Mexico.
Oh, it's a tremendous boost. It really does fill in the gaps. Used to, after the fair, things got very slow. Now this makes a month of excellent economy for all of the hotel, motel, restaurants, industry, and all of the total money passes around, and it's one of the greatest things for the economy that ever happened in New Mexico.
Now, we are watching the balloons, and you've talked about being a spectator, but have you ever been in a balloon? And if you have, tell us about that experience.
No, well, I'll let Alice go up and ride in the balloon. She looks around. I really never did go up, you know. I just never quite had the occasion. I would today, but I have to go to Shiprock to the Shiprock Navajo Indian Parade, so I guess I won't get a chance today. But it is a wonderful opportunity and a great occasion. It's a very smooth ride, and everyone really enjoys it, so I guess I better go take a ride. How about you, Carla? You going to go take a ride?
You know what? I'm going to try and catch a ride with our pilot over there, Craig Kennedy. But we'd like to thank you very much for joining us here on the set.
That's who Alice rode with, was Channel 4 and Craig, so they said it was just wonderful, so you'll have a good time. Thank you for letting us join you.
Okay, thank you very much. And Craig would like to say a couple of words.
Tom and I just wanted to visit a little bit about the special shapes, and on a mass ascension, folks are going to get an early glimpse at some of the shapes that are going to be out here, but by no means all of them.
Okay, we're going to excuse Craig Kennedy,
We'll talk to you later.
be a balloonist. Thanks for stopping by, Craig.
Sitting with me right now is Dave Melton, co-captain of a very important team. As you know, New Mexico has a fine tradition of pilots, expert pilots who seem to like to stretch the envelope, so to speak, with all kinds of wonderful flights, breaking records. And you've got lofty goals. Tell us about that.
Yes, we sure do, Carla. We have the Earth Winds Hilton Balloon Project. We're trying to be the first balloon to fly nonstop, circumnavigate the world in a balloon, manned balloon.
Now, that has never been done before. I mean, that's quite a project. What do you do to prepare for that?
The preparation takes quite a long time. It takes about 4 to 5 months of people working on this project to get set up for such an attempt. This balloon is very complicated. It's not something like these where you can take out on the weekend and fly. We've been up in Reno, Nevada, which is our launch site, working for the last 3 weeks, preparing for an October 15th launch window opening.
So this is coming up very quickly, right after Balloon Fiesta?
That's correct, yes.
My gosh, I mean, I'm surprised that your mind is here and not on 2 weeks away.
Yes, I flew in late last night. I'm going to be here until Wednesday, and then I have to go back and get back to work on the project.
We've been talking to Dave Melton, who will become one of the first men to circumnavigate the Earth. We wish you a lot of good luck. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And now let's go to Bill. Bill Eisenhood. What are you up to, Bill?
About a half an hour ago, speaking of meteorology, I made a prediction that the balloons would go north and then east and end up east of the field. Well, the camera right now is looking toward the southwest. So, hey, I'm only 180 degrees out of phase. What the heck? That's pretty close, don't you think?
It is pretty close, Bill.
I guess the wind's changed, Tom, they ran that the pilot balloon up this morning, and the winds were pretty much out of the southwest, and then the west, I guess they changed.
You are looking at the KOB TV balloon, the Channel 4 balloon, piloted by our own Craig Kennedy, in the midst of cold inflation right now.
And it's interesting out there. We have something like 4,000 volunteers who are helping to put this balloon fiesta together. And, you know, you see the pilots, they go up in the balloons, but they have these chase crews, people who follow them around and keep sight of them, and once they try to land, they go there and help them land, make sure that it's a nice soft landing. That's what you're always hoping for when you go up in a balloon.
Bill Eisenhood is out there. He would like to chat with us for a moment. Bill?
Hi, Tom. Thanks. I'm here with Craig Kennedy at the KOB balloon. Craig is checking everything out here. We got the cold inflation going. How's it going?
Good. I told you about the sniff test a moment ago.
Yeah,
Make sure that we didn't have any propane leaking.
Yeah.
I sniffed. No propane leaking.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
How soon are we going to
I
fire?
haven't sniffed propane in a while either.
Well, only on Tuesdays.
How soon are we going to fire up?
Yeah. Here we go.
Right now.
Right now. All right.
Hi, Carl and Tom.
All right, there he is.
How are you?
Got you now.
I'm
Good.
sorry I was burning. I think we're ready to go. What do you say? Glad to have you along for the ride, everyone. Thank you, crew. Good job. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. You got it. All right, I was just told by the launch director, Richard said, would you please climb out nice and slow as we can see up above us. There is plenty of heavy traffic, so we just don't want to do anything too erratic that would cause any of the other balloonists to have to change their elevation.
Hey, Craig? Craig, can you hear me?
I was burning right then. Try me again.
Does it look like the crowd on the field is bigger this year than in years gone by?
Yeah, you know why? Because I'm up in the air where there aren't any orange barrels. I can see it all. there are a bunch of people out here. I'd say fully 250,000.
Craig, you were talking about the launch director wanting you to go nice and slow. How do you regulate that with the burn and with the wind?
We just have to not add so much heat that we scream out of the field. Just trying to burn here. You add enough heat so that you're buoyant and so that you climb gently, but you don't add so much heat that you really climb at any rapid rate of ascent. I don't think that we've exceeded a 200 foot per minute climb so far.
We are going to go right now to Bill Eisenhood, right?
Hi, Carl. I'm with a couple of the Zebra guys here with, and I had your name, Richard Yeager and Tony Martone. How's it going? It seems like a very leisurely launch here this morning.
Yeah, it is. Everything's going nice and smooth. A lot of good pilots. They're doing what we ask them to. They're being safe, and it's just a lot of fun. A lot of people out here enjoying it.
Where are we in the time frame here? Halfway through?
Yeah, we're about the middle of the second wave. We've launched all of our balloons from the south field. These balloons behind us are coming from the center section and then north section, and then we'll come back here and launch some more balloons if there's anybody that wants to go.
I'm amazed. I usually can't get you guys to stand still long enough to talk to.
Well, we just finished our south side, as Rich was just saying, so now we'll start going back up, getting our pilots ready for the third wave while the second wave finishes.
So this is the second wave.
That's right.
And we got one more wave to go.
One more wave to go.
After this.
After this one here.
So usually we're done by now.
Well, we're doing as Rich was saying, we're doing a slow, casual, nice, easy, and safe launch.
It's going to be another 45 minutes or so,
yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe an hour.
Balloons up in the sky, though. It looks pretty.
You're doing a great job. Thanks, gentlemen, very much. Appreciate talking to you. Thank you. Back to the set.
It's starting to rain just a little bit, and we're praying to the weather gods that they hold back a bit.
It's not bad, just a few drops. Craig Kennedy up in the air. Hello, Craig.
Good morning. I thought I felt a few raindrops myself, and then I realized, is that sleet? And then I realized, no, that's just Adobe falling out of the envelope.
So how's it like up there?
It's really nice. How do you like our view from 3,000 feet above the field of the Kodak Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta? You like it?
Looking good.
Hey, love it.
Craig, when you fly, does rain present any kind of problem at all for you?
Sure. I don't want to get my balloon wet. One thing that'll guarantee a balloon's death is if you're adding moisture and heat. That combination doesn't work very well.
Joining us right now is Bill Eisenhood. He's back on the set with us. And was it fun out there, out in the field? You get a different perspective of things, don't you?
You certainly do. You asked me a couple times where I was. I had no idea.
You're in Albuquerque,
I got up high and I looked down.
It's the Kodak International Balloon Fiesta, 23rd.
I couldn't hardly find my way back to the set. But it was absolutely the mellowest one I've ever worked.
No kidding.
It's just so laid back. A lot of times, you're great urgency. You're trying to get out of the way. Balloons are launching. They got to hurry up and get off. Let the next guy go, and all that. There wasn't any of that this morning. It was.
Craig, do you feel the same way? Craig's up in the balloon. Was it mellow for you?
It is. This year is surprisingly mellow for the first day. Just so easy and peaceful. Really having a good time. Hope you're enjoying the ride.
How do you explain this mellowness, Craig?
Well,
is it organization? I mean, people just know exactly what to do when they come.
This is kind of the end of the season, the ballooning season for a lot of people. So they just come here and have a good time and party and try not to overdo it.
And they're also
taking you up every weekend.
All right, they're probably also a little tired.
Well, that does it for us as you look at those beautiful balloons in the sky. You probably see them from your home. And we would like to remind you that tomorrow we will have live coverage of the mass ascension once again, KOB TV 4 from 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning. We hope you'll join us then as well.
We will be back here tomorrow bright and early, 7 o'clock. Hope you can join us for Skyward 94, a KOB TV production.
We will see you again tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.
In the morning, the ticket out here is the mass ascension, but at night, it's the balloon glow.
It lights up the skies and it lights up your heart. And as you see, lots of balloons are filling up. The cold inflation right now. Lots going out on the field, and Rick Sanchez is right there checking everything out. Yeah.
Greg from Sacramento, you're getting ready to take off here in the first wave.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, this is your first time here?
No, 15th year.
15th year. Listen, we wish you nothing but the best going up there, all right?
Thank you very much.
Okay, Sacramento.
All right.
Good luck. All right, Sacramento. Hey, let's go this way. We got Craig Kennedy with us. Craig, what's the new information you got for us from that dawn patrol this morning?
Wasn't that beautiful this morning?
Great.
All the people who were on their way out here really had a treat. And we also had something neat during the pilot briefing. We had the launch. We had Rod May, the balloon meister. He got on the PA system and he said, "Hey, Dawn Patrol, if you can hear me, let's have it all burn."
I saw that.
3, 2, 1, and they did it. And he says, "We may have a new event out here."
Your dad did a great job, too, this morning on Dawn Patrol. We're in the wave. The first wave is gone. We're going to send it back to you guys up there at the set.
With me now, Ron Berman, one of the best photographers out here. In fact, this guy makes a living taking pictures of balloons. Used to be just the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, but now you're all over the place, right?
Yeah, nowadays we're doing about 30 events a year, and our travels take us to places like Jordan, Australia, Europe, things like that.
Why is ballooning catching on in a place like Jordan?
I think people are, in some areas, are, I won't say repressed, but a little more reserved, and I think the color of balloons and everything else is spectacular, and the king and his wife, Queen Nora, and I just seem to love them.
As I mentioned earlier, you're making a living with these balloons, taking photographs of them. You have a few products out, right?
Yeah, we've got, well, for 1995, we've got 3 different hot air balloon calendars. And then we've got a balloon book that we just sold out of, and we're producing a new one. And we got some other products online.
Now, you've been a photographer for a long time. You've been a balloon pilot, but you didn't own a balloon until just recently, right?
Yeah, 2 years ago, my wife, Trish, decided that we were being photographers too much and that we needed to inject a little more fun. And she bought the balloon, and so we got a little balloon called a Little Exposure. And we have way too much fun with it.
Thank you, Ron. Always good seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
You know, we're always looking up in the sky, looking at the great sights, but there's a lot going on the ground, too. Isn't that true, Rick Sanchez?
Just a moment ago, the envelope was in this duffel bag right here. Now, take a look right there. There is the KOB balloon, pilot Craig Kennedy. We just got it inflated here, didn't we?
Yeah. You've seen the balloons put away sometimes, how you shove them back into that duffel bag?
Yeah.
We just unwadded the balloon.
All right, let's take a peek inside, can we?
Love
just kind of
to.
show everybody what's going on. I'm going to walk over here. This is just wild, unbelievable when they were taking this thing apart. And it's really held together here at the very top. This is the top of the balloon, folks. It's held together by some Velcro, and it's kind of tough to... And there it is. And you can see the basket down there at the other end. How long has it taken us to get this thing inflated just to this point?
We've taken about 10 minutes so far. Just kind of taking our time this morning. It's about 800 yards of nylon in this balloon. And we turn on the fan, and we actually let the fan push the balloon out of the bag. We'd let it kind of fill up, and then we'd pull the bag back a little bit further. It works really well for clearing the crowd out of the way. Friendly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I saw some folks over here on some bleachers. They were kind of getting pushed up against the balloon. You got a balloon over to your left here. It's also getting a little kiss from your balloon. That woman...
Tell the people,
what's that?
If they get any sticky bun on the balloon, they have to lick it off.
If we can take a peek real quick. That woman at the end over there is actually the true boss of this balloon. That's Jane Kennedy, Craig's wife. He gets all the publicity. She does all the work, and we wish her and you nothing but the best.
She lets me know if I ever do something wrong, but she does it in just the right way.
All right,
and you know what I always say?
What?
Yes, dear.
Smart man. We're going to send it back to you guys up there on the set. And in a moment, we're going to go to the other end and take a look from the other side.
With me right now, Robert Vinson from Conoco and Renee Eastman from Sunoco. And I'm amazed. There's so much camaraderie between these competing corporations. You're here for one reason, to promote propane.
That's correct.
That's right. We think this is a great event to promote propane.
Now, you provide propane to all the balloonists here at the Balloon Fiestas. Tell me how it works, and how much you give to each balloonist.
Each balloonist is given all of their fuel throughout the Fiesta. Conoco, Texaco, and Sunoco each donated all the propane for the Balloon Fiesta. That's about 125,000 gallons that will be used this week. Almost 15,000 gallons of propane per day.
That's a lot of propane. Now, propane is a fuel. You were talking about it, Renee. It's very clean. It's a very clean fuel.
Propane, this is being done in conjunction with some of the environmental initiatives that all of our companies are involved in. We'd like for the public not only to know about propane as using hot air balloons, but it's a clean fuel, not only for home heating, but for cars as well.
Okay, you are here giving the balloonist propane, but you're also here involved with a very special event called Drive Clean America. Tell us about that.
Drive Clean America is an event that both Sunoco and Conoco are sponsoring, and that rally is started in 3 capitals in North America: Mexico City, Washington, D.C., and in Canada, and they are coming through here today at 9:30.
Okay, we see Rick Sanchez on our screen right now, and he's got things going very quickly at the KOB balloon. Rick?
All right, thanks very much, Carl. We got Craig Kennedy. We just got this thing stood up. You're a little thirsty. Put a little work into you, didn't it?
Actually, the crew did all the work, and you know who I want to thank? All these people along the front row. There must have been a dozen people holding the envelope off of all the other people who were sitting down.
What's the word now, Craig?
We were told that we are ready to go real soon. We're going to head out this direction, okay? It's real heavy overhead traffic. We're going to climb out ever so slowly.
All right, thumbs up. We got a thumbs up for the KLB balloon. Okay, buddy, listen. Have some fun up there.
Thank you. We're going to have a good time this morning.
All right, the KOB balloon taking off. A little reminder here from one of the zebra that there could be a little... There they go. Looked like for a moment there we may actually tip one of the balloons to the left of us, but that did not happen. So we'll send it back to you guys up there on the set. Kind of a little crazy down here this morning.
You know, it is absolutely incredible to see these balloons fly over you. You can see the inside of the envelope, and you can see the burns. It's spectacular today.
You know, one of these days, I would like to just be a spectator, walk amongst the canyon of balloons and get a real feel for it. I've been on this set for all 7 years I've been here in New Mexico, and you're going to have to give me a day off, Carla. Would you consider that one of these weekends?
You know, they look like giants. You know, I look at them and you feel like a kid all over again. These giants just ascending into the sky, beautiful colors. There's something about balloons, even, you know, just regular little balloons.
You know, there's something about these nice people out here too. There's a fella right on the edge of our news set who just asked us if we wanted a couple of T-shirts.
Tim, can you get us a shirt? Yeah.
Giving us pins. Yesterday a fella gave me a coin. They're just really nice.
You know, the thing about it is, we were talking with the Conoco people. This is a win-win situation for everyone. The advertisers, the people in Albuquerque, the balloonists. It's kind of a wonderful marriage. Everyone works together and needs everyone.
And it's a great way to meet people too. Folks from all walks of life are here. Folks from all different parts of the country, all over the country. I meet about 20, 30 German people every balloon fiesta. We just saw a shot from the KOB balloon. Now we're looking up at the gondola and the envelope and the great guy inside, our pilot, Craig Kennedy. The conditions out here today, from at least a viewer's perspective, just excellent, and the balloonists are doing better today. Yesterday, the rain was kind of a downer.
Well, it was also the clouds trapping that hot air. Talking to the balloon meister Rod May and to Jim Benson, they were talking about how it was just really slow. You know, all the conditions were. Today you saw a much more a faster launch. The waves went up a lot faster.
All right, we're going to go to Rick Sanchez now. Rick?
All right, Tom. We saw Craig Kennedy and the KOB balloon take off. Here's his wife, Jane, and the last part about this is what?
Chasing.
Chasing.
Absolutely. We only have just a few minutes to, you know, get the chase vehicle prepared, pack everything up, and then what we'll need to do is start leaving the field.
All right, then. Well, we saw the balloons kind of kissing. A little heavy traffic this morning at this angle, at least, it looked like.
It was, but due to the, you know, zebras' experiences, it looks just fine.
All right, have a safe.
Doesn't hurt.
All right, have a safe chase there. We'll see you guys taking off. There they go. They got the van loaded up. It's just that quick. He takes off, and within 2 or 3 minutes, chase crew's got to load everything in, get the van started up, and go find Craig Kennedy when he gets ready to land. We'll send it back to you guys up there on the set.
Now let's go back to Craig Kennedy up there in the KOB balloon. Craig?
This is so nice up here, Tom and Carla. We are actually heading toward the Rio Grande at this time. I was kind of surprised. The weather briefing this morning suggested that all the balloons would likely go south and possibly be pushing just a little bit west. We're going north.
How long do you want to stay up there this morning, Craig?
I want to stay up as long as safely possible. You figure the sun rose at 7. 2 hours after the sun comes up, you start to get enough warming from the sun to cause thermals, and then you begin to lose the control of the balloon. Since the only control that I really have is up and down, yes, I can kind of steer sideways using the winds that are going into different altitudes, but since the only control I have is up and down, I sure don't want a thermal to hit us and cause any problems. So shortly after 9, we'll probably find a place to set down. But we're probably going to get to go dip in the river before we do that.
We're listening to Craig Kennedy, our KOB TV balloon pilot, and also a KOB TV producer, our 6 and 10 o'clock producer. Joining us now is Rick Sanchez. What was it like out there? You were having a blast.
Yeah, I was having a good time. A lot of folks out there really excited to be a part of this event. A lot of international class to this thing, not only in the pilots, but the visitors that come out. And I got to tell you, everywhere I went, people would come and say, hey, I just came by. I saw Tom and Carla. They were eating. Every time I'm out there, they were eating.
Who was eating?
We were jealous of you.
No,
Carla.
The two of you. Everybody goes,
Stop
yeah,
it.
You saw Tom, he was eating. I saw Carla, she was eating. It's like you guys were downing this stuff off in the commercial breaks. Great atmosphere out there. I think today's launch was successful because the weather cooperated, much cooler today, and that helped provide a great lift. Got a little crowded out there, a couple of kissing balloons, but you know, the folks that sit in these benches right in front of our little setup here actually were holding the balloon. We really like to applaud them for being so cooperative.
Hey, we sure would like, go ahead, Carla.
I was just going to ask very quickly, you were talking about weather for today. What does it look like for the rest of the week? I know you don't have your models in front of you, but if you can give us an idea.
Well, I just saw Christy Brinkley out there. That was one model. No, joking. There's an upper level low up around the Montana area. We talked about it last week. Could invade Wednesday and Thursday, and we're still thinking this thing, at least the tail end of it, will come our way. Chance of rain is a possibility. Also some cooler air. Now, we're already talking about snow along the Montana-Canadian border by afternoon today. So we know that's got a lot of cold air mass behind it. So it could shuttle this way. I would not be surprised if by Wednesday or Thursday the afternoon high is only 69, 70 degrees, which is much cooler for this time of the year. And there may be some problems for some afternoon events on both of those days. But we're going to keep an eye on this thing. Hopefully it'll track a little further north and won't cause us much problem. But if the tail end comes through, much like this one that came through the other day, then we may be in for some problems with the weather.
All right, we will not worry about it, though, until it happens.
That's right. That's right.
Good. Folks, if you haven't been out here, you really ought to come out, see the balloons, see us, say hi. This is a unique event because you can get right up there next to the balloonists. You can talk to the balloonists. You can see the balloons from just a few feet away. If you were in Europe, in places like Germany, France, you can't even get close. They've got the launch areas roped off, fenced off, so unique out here, and you'll have a blast, I promise you.
It is fascinating to see, you know, that process, you know, of just laying out the envelope to seeing the cold inflation to actually seeing it rise. It is actually spectacular, and, you know, I am a native New Mexican. I've seen these balloon fiestas, but it still is a thrill every time.
You've got to get up early to get out here, but it is well worth it. The traffic flowing smoothly this year. They've worked out any problems. So once again, we invite you to come to visit us at the 1994 Kodak Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. I guess it's time for us to check out, but we'll of course be back next weekend.
We'd like to say thank you to our crew, to everybody on the Balloon Fiesta staff, and we invite you to again join us next weekend from 7 to 9 and watch us on News 4 during the week.
Say goodbye, Rick.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Folks.
See you. Have a good day.
Have you ever seen giant cartoons up in the sky? Well, this year we've had the largest gathering of special-shaped balloons.
In fact, the Special Shapes Rodeo is so popular, there are now 2 of them. Check this out.
You bet they're going up, folks. We got the word about 5 minutes ago. Cold inflation is underway. You can see a balloon right there. So it won't be long before the first wave goes up. We want to talk to Craig Kennedy, the KOB balloonist. He just joined us up here in the set. Have you heard anything about what's holding things up? Anything more, anyway?
There's a waiver in effect for a event like this. When Balloon Fiesta sets it up, they talk with the FAA and they say, we intend to have this big air show. And they say, all right, the way you have to stage this is to follow the rules. And that means that you won't launch balloons if the ground winds are above a certain speed or if winds aloft are above a certain speed. And this morning when they were setting up the pie balls, those pilot balloons, they were seeing that the winds aloft were a little bit brisk. So they wanted to wait a little while because they knew at first light the winds would increase for a little bit and then they'd probably back off. So that's what we were waiting for.
Well, it's a new day. Go out and get them. We just saw the KOB balloon. So you get out there and do what you do best, Craig.
Have a good show.
All right, thank you.
Have fun flying.
With me now, a fellow by the name of Richard Hager. And you fly which balloon again?
Hager the Horrible.
Hager the Horrible, which is a Special Shapes balloon. And it looks like a comic strip
It looks
character.
like the comic strip Hager the Horrible.
All right, and you were telling me that the horns alone on this thing are how long?
The horns are 20 feet long and they're 12 foot in diameter. The nose is 8 foot in diameter and sticks out 6 feet.
Folks, unless you get up close and personal to some of these balloons, you really don't appreciate how big they are.
They really are, and he's 7 stories tall if you put him up next to a building.
And did you decide to select this particular look because of your last name, Hager?
Well, 2 reasons. First of all, because of our name, and secondly, because we really like the comic strip, Hager the Horrible.
For people who don't know much about these special shapes balloons, they ain't cheap, are they?
No, shapes start running quite a bit of money because of the extra fabric, plus getting them certified with the FAA as a real balloon.
How much did yours cost you?
Well, it's
Or is
just
that
a little bit more than what a regular balloon would cost.
Are you going to tell me exactly?
No, really not.
Okay, tens of thousands, actually, probably well beyond $20,000, I would imagine.
Yes.
Well beyond 30, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 40. Who knows?
You're getting closer.
And do you find it a bit more challenging to fly Hagar than just a regular balloon?
Yes, Hager flies a little different because he has those horns and things sticking off of him. When you go through wind different shears, he turns real fast and a number of other things.
How many years have you been coming to this Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta?
I believe we started here in '86.
86. And anything to say to the people of Albuquerque before I excuse you?
It's a really great time down here. We always stay 10 days, and we love it, and we always keep coming back.
Okay, we'll look for your You're not flying your balloon or Hager this morning, are you?
No, we'll be flying Raspberry Sunrise this morning.
All right. Well, you have a great time, and thanks for coming, and we'll see you again next year.
Hey, thanks.
All right, Richard
Good
Hager.
to be here.
All right, great. We want to go out to Bill Eisenhood. We can see Craig Kennedy on the screen right now, but we want to check in with Bill. Bill?
Things are bobbing back and forth a little bit here, and we just had to literally restrain this balloon. It was trying to take off on its own. They had a big strap. They tied it to the to Craig's chase vehicle here just to keep it from drifting away. So the wind is a bit of a problem here this morning, and these pilots get very nervous. The last thing they want is their balloon to get out of control here on the ground and crash into some other balloon and cause a big problem. And we're going to keep an eye on Craig, and he's got his headset on. He'll be able to talk to us here in a few minutes once we establish contact. And he can tell us all about the winds up there and this big problem that they've been experiencing in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. So I'll take it back to you on the set.
Okay, thank you, Bill. So much going on. I think what we'll try to do is switch back and forth. I'm going to introduce you to a couple from Austria now, and in just a minute we'll watch Craig as he lifts off. With me, Thomas Lewitz and Sylvia Wagner from Austria, and you were here for the gas ballooning championship. You came in second place.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
Oh, well, it's a good feeling. Yesterday at prize giving, we enjoyed it, really.
You were here for the Gordon Bennett race as well.
Yes, last year.
Second visit to Albuquerque.
It was the second visit, yeah.
What are your perceptions after being here twice now?
Sorry, what was that?
What are some of the things you think about when you hear Albuquerque now after visiting 2 different occasions for such a competitive event?
Well, it's a nice country, nice people, nice city. We enjoy that, and we enjoy the ballooning here.
Is it different to watch the rest of the balloons? We're watching right now Craig Kennedy as he goes up. The KOB TV balloon has made its ascension and should be up there for a while. We'll be able to watch through the camera's eye on what it's like to be up there. Is it real different to watch these balloons as opposed to the balloons you fly? Is there any different feel to them?
We also fly hot air balloons.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So most of the time we fly hot air balloons, and it's it's not so noisy in the gas balloon. It's more relaxing, and you know that you have more time to stay in the air with the gas balloon, so enjoy it more.
We talked yesterday with the winner of the gas ballooning event. Said this was one of the more competitive races he had been in.
Yes, there were a lot of really hard tasks, and it was a good race.
Okay, Sylvia, Thomas, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of stay with this for a minute and see how the KOB TV balloon does. It looks to be heading south, Tom.
Craig Kennedy, can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Tom?
Yes, I can. Are you moving fast or what?
Yeah, a little bit. That's kind of common this time of year. You get a morning drainage wind that'll move you at a brisk pace. As we continue to climb, we'll find layers of air that are moving a little less fast, a little slower. I see the balloons up above us are just almost standing still. What do you think, Jack? You haven't been up in quite a while. How long, my photographer?
Oh, how about 6 weeks?
About 6 years.
He's not crying, is he?
No,
It
actually,
sounded
he's too
like he
busy
was
to.
crying. Okay.
He's too busy to be aware of what he's really doing.
All right. All right. Well, we will periodically check in with Craig Kennedy because he will be up there for a while. Let's go back to Bill Eisenhood. What do you say?
Okay, I'm with you guys.
Hi.
Bill?
Yes, hi, I'm here with Bill and Lillian Oberjohn from Ohio. Now, you said you got here just like almost by mistake. You're standing here. And Lillian, you've been asking me, gee, do they do this every year here? So you folks really don't, you know, are like unaware of what's going on out here.
Exactly right. Yes.
Now, how did you come to be here this morning? What happened?
Well, we knew about the event when we registered at the motel at the Holiday Inn, and we thought it would be a good thing to come and see, and we certainly haven't been disappointed so far.
You thought, gee, that sounds quaint. Let's go over and look at some balloons go up. Huh?
Right. We didn't know how big it was or exactly where it was, but we asked for the general directions and started walking this way, and we discovered it. So
you walked from your hotel?
Yeah, from the Holiday Inn at Pyramid.
Oh, the Pyramid.
Yeah,
I
right.
see.
Not downtown.
What do you think? Were you kind of surprised when you realized what was really happening here?
Pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
Well, have a nice visit, and thank you for talking to us here. And we're glad you're here this morning, and it's a pleasure to see you. Come back again next year.
We will.
All right.
Let's go up to Craig. He's we mean it when we say we're in touch, so you can be in touch, right? And
Yeah,
he's
that's right.
up in the air giving us that overhead view. Craig?
You guys are having fun down there, aren't you?
We are.
We're having fun up here, too. We're about 2,300 feet above ground level right now. And we did find a real slow layer of wind that's very gently pushing us to the east. We're coming up right over top of the intersection of Paseo del Norte and I-25. And we'll probably keep going east for quite a little ways, because up in the Northeast Heights, there's still a lot of areas, believe it or not, that aren't fully developed with homes. Nice big landing fields. So if the wind on the ground is still brisk when we decide to touch down, then we'll have some wide open area in which to do it. When we're carrying the camera, obviously we like to stay as close to the field as we can and not go too terribly far away so that the folks at home get a pretty view. If we're going to fly on a weekend and just go out and have a good time, we could do any number of different things, and sometimes we like going for a distance of 12, 15 miles. It's a lot of fun. Then you get to see some new ground. We probably don't always fly as high as we are. 2,000 feet above the ground is pretty standard. We'd go to that altitude on most every flight.
Craig?
Yes?
I've seen a few balloons go up in the direction of the mountain.
Well, it appears that they're heading in that direction, but...
No, not today. I've seen them
In years past.
during the week,
Oh.
yeah, years past. You like to stay away from there, don't you?
I don't see any particular need to go over the mountain yet, at least not unless I was doing it with a very experienced pilot who had been there before. High altitude flying, mountain flying in particular, is a different breed of cat. And since I haven't done it, I'd prefer to do it with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Well, Craig, get the most of it today, because tomorrow it's back to work.
That's right,
Hey,
Kennedy.
It'll be like vacation, guys, compared to this week. I'm looking forward to coming back.
Craig is our 10 o'clock producer at Channel 4.
I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks, Craig. We'll check in a little later. Someone with Kodak yesterday who said the average person here shoots about 5 rolls of film a day.
It's a lot of film.
It is. And then we talked to that photojournalist from Canada who said he shoots about 10. Not only is that a lot of film, that's a lot of business for all these film developers around town.
And he said, the professional said that 10 to 15% of his photographs are really good. So I guess they're saying we need to burn up a lot of film if we want to get some photos we want to keep.
Great place to come and get shots of your kids, too. You can see all the little ones out there, eyes just as big as can be, watching as the balloons go up.
Is Alejandro out here this morning?
No, he came out yesterday. Last year he was just one, and he didn't really get too much out of it, but I understand yesterday he really thought it was terrific until he saw Mom up here, and then he threw a fit and didn't want to do anything else.
My 1.5-year-old son, Max, was not a happy camper when we woke him up at 5 o'clock. He was rather angry that we would be so rude as to disturb his slumber, but I saw him a few minutes ago, and he seemed to be having a great time.
Takes a while to get used to those hours. Craig Kennedy's got to be used to it by now, all these years of flying. Let's join him again. Craig?
Well, we keep waking up in the morning anyway. It isn't too hard to wake up in the morning. And anybody who goes skiing and has a love for things that you have to get up early and travel, you know, a couple hours to the ski resort, you don't mind it a bit now, do you?
Not one bit. It's worth every second of lost sleep.
I don't know. I have to tell you, waking up yesterday, it's been years since, well, not years. It'd been months after doing that morning show, 7 years. I thought I was used to it, but yesterday was hard.
Well, I think, Monica, as you get older, you're going to find that you need less sleep.
Thank
right.
you. Would you agree, Craig?
I don't have a problem with it, but it's really been strange getting used to a day shift. Took about, what did it take, 6, 7 months to get used to that?
And
now I'm going back on a night shift.
Back to nights.
Go figure. But you know what that means?
It means you can fly all morning.
Sleep. Well, I get to fly in the morning if I choose, but tomorrow I get to sleep in. I don't have to be into work until 2.
Yeah.
Craig, it looks like the balloons are heading south initially and then, what, maybe drifting east? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
All
At
right.
about 7,100 feet mean sea level.
Craig, I was asking.
7,100 feet, we get a wind that'll push us to the east. In fact, we're even getting to go just a little bit north. We crossed over Louisiana a little while ago. We were paralleling Paseo del Norte, and now we've crossed east over Louisiana.
I was asking Tom earlier, how do the balloon assignments here on the field work? Do the same balloons lift off from the same spot on the field every day throughout the Fiesta?
Yes, they do. When we sign up for Balloon Fiesta, the people in charge of Fiesta take a look and they say, okay, you're flying Fox Photo, or you have this particular sponsor, you know, you're going to go in this launch space, maybe somewhere along the front concession row.
Craig, are there some spots that may be more coveted than others?
A little bit more coveted than others?
Right.
Well, for the sponsors, if you can be along concession row, it's a wonderful thing. But for the pilot and crew, that means that you have just that much more field traffic, you know, spectators to contend with. But all the people out on the field are really nice. You'd be surprised when we set up right next to concession row, for as many times as our balloon fabric almost drapes over top of those people, hey, they're happy to stand there and kind of hold it up and hold it off of the others with the sticky buns.
Craig, we just saw the famous footwear balloon, that big shoe.
I'm going to burn for just a second and then continue your question. We were into a little descent and I wanted to stop that so we can flatten out.
Okay.
Now we're flying about level again.
All right, I was...
The famous footwear balloon.
Right, I was saying, in fact, we can see it on the screen now.
Okay.
There are some of the special shapes balloons which go up during the mass ascension, but there are others we don't see. For instance, the motorcycle.
Well, the ones that are more difficult to inflate and fly and deflate, they're probably going to set up only for the special events, the Special Shapes Rodeo and the displays. Your Special Shapes balloons that are promoting an advertiser of some variety, they're much more likely to inflate and fly every day of Fiesta. Hey, they have a message to promote.
Hey, they've got a job to do.
That's right. They're at work all week.
Okay, Tom, we're with the person who knows everything there is to know. If you have a question about the Balloon Fiesta, you ask Jody. Jody Baugh joins us now. And Jody, you have really been blessed this year. I mean, I think it'll be one of the best Balloon Fiestas on record.
We have been blessed, and it's just been almost uncanny the way we've dodged all the bad weather, and we just have enough windows of opportunity to launch the balloons and get them off the ground. It's been a safe Fiesta. It really has been a blessing, and we've dodged the bullet every time.
How many balloons this year?
About 700.
700, wow. And it was a record number for, I know, the special shapes. You've never had that many special shapes in the rodeo before.
I can't remember from year to year, but I think there was either the same amount as last year or possibly a few more.
Is there anything, by now people have heard all sorts of figures and facts about the Balloon Fiesta. Is there anything that comes to mind that you find outstanding this year or just really different from the 23 previous Balloon Fiestas?
it's been kind of a hold and wait on the weather, but it seems like I've worried a little bit more this year about the weather, but every day I think the nervousness about the weather has been a little bit unnerving, but overall, I think we were very, very grateful to be able to host the World Gas Balloon Championship, which was held right in the middle of our event, and that was sort of a special event that we held. All the Europeans want to come back. They love flying in New Mexico.
We're going to wrap this up, aren't we?
We certainly are. Again, we thank you. We hope that you have a good weekend. What's left of it, a lot of people out here already talking about football later this afternoon, so no doubt there are plenty of ways to spend your Sunday. Thank you for being with us, and we'll join you again with more coverage on the Balloon Fiesta tonight at 5:30 and 10 on News 4.
And we're going to say goodbye with the 9 days kind of shrunk into a 3-minute video story of what's happened out here, a wrap-up. So that's it for now from Skyward 94. Thanks, folks.
Adios.
Bye-bye.